How do guys, welcome back to Edgar TV. It's the Christmas break. It's that part where we get to sit back, take stock and reflect on what we've seen so far during the World Championships. The half time of the PDC World Darts Championships, and wow, has it been an event so far. It's been the year of the underdog in the PDC, and it kind of has been the same again here at the World Championships, with 6 players out of the world's top 16 being eliminated at the first hurdle. This is unheard of. Record-breaking numbers in regards to the seeds that have been eliminated, and that doesn't bode well for the players that are trying to get in the Premier League as well. 7 names who was sort of in the running for the Premier League now in a little bit of trouble after going out in the first round stage. Just puts their position in a bit of jeopardy if someone goes on a big run or reaches the final, a la Luke Littler did last year. That is Rob Cross, who lost out to Scott Williams, Mike De Decker, the World Grand Prix champion, Richie Edhouse, the European champion, Michael Smith, James Wade, who's had a good year, Dave Chisnell, who was just outside the top 4, which could have got him automatic qualification, Gary Anderson. Some really interesting admissions there from the World Championship, meaning it could open doors here for people to put themselves in the Premier League conversation. Eyes now turn to the likes of Damon Heta. If he reaches the semi-final, will be in by merit via the top 4 as things stand. Stephen Bunting draws the eye, along with many other faces, but those two probably now your front runners of your players who could put themselves in the mix. I know some people want to see the likes of Scott Williams, Ricky Evans, due to the fact of the entertainment factor as well, so really does sort of blow the doors wide open. Michael Smith, though, one of the names we mentioned in that, may be out of the conversation now because he could be out of the world's top 16. He came into this event as the world number 2. He dropped down to 14, 15, now 16, and he will drop out of the world 16 if one of the following things happen. Andrew Gilding wins his next match, Dimitri Vandenberg wins his next match, or Ryan Searle wins his next match. So, likely to see to see Michael Smith, not Andrew Gilding, drop out the world's top 16. Andrew Gilding may go back into it. Rob Cross, another player who's in position. He's in the top 4, which would guarantee himself a Premier League spot, but doesn't look good now. He's out the event, hasn't really picked up much money here, will probably get jumped due to the nature of the World Championship and the heavy prize fund. The only way which Rob Cross really stays in the world's top 4 is if one of the following things happen. Parlow, Jeffrey de Graaf, Robert Owen or Nick Kenny win the World Championship, beating a player 29 or worse in the world rankings. That's the only way Rob Cross sustains the top 4 guarantees of that Premier League spot. That being said, with a year of inconsistency that has been, Rob Cross is always going to be in the conversation, isn't he? Because he's reliable and he's a name that would certainly suit the Premier League in a year that could really be a complete turnover of players. Been some good performances though during the World Championship. The top 3 performers are as follows: Connor Scott averaging 100.92 or 101.92 against Ben Robb. Luke Littler 100.85. That doesn't tell the full story. A record-breaking set average to win that game against Ryan Meikle with 141, or just shy of 141. But the performer so far of the tournament, Cullen 107.06 in his opening round game. That brilliant when you look at the journey that Callum Ridds has been on this year. The journey, though, is over for a couple of people. Simon Whitlock, now someone we picked up on a few months ago, and I was cold crazy for suggesting that he may lose his tour card, has now lost his tour card alongside Boris Kritschmar. Wesley Plazier temporarily moved into a position of which he could get a tour card, but he now loses his ranking money. He does get one, though, off the Challenge Tour Order of Merit, so Wesley Plazier will have a 2-year professional tour card starting from 0. Robert Owen will not want to be starting from 0 because that will mean he goes to Q School. He is currently still in the event, a run to the 3rd round, really making the most of his reprieve and his luck getting into the event, reaching the 3rd round stage. He is in the bubble position though now, which means if Jeffrey de Graaf wins a game and Robert Owen loses, Jeffrey de Graaf is going to jump him in the order of merit, relegating Robert Owen outside of the world's top 64. So another interesting point to keep an eye on moving forward. People moving positions all over the place. Raymond van Barneveld now came into this event inside the world's top 32. He now comes outside the world's top 32, meaning that he no longer will get a place guaranteed in the World Championships, and he wouldn't be seeded unless he gets back into the top 32. This is where things get tricky. When you drop out the 16, you expect to drop, and when you drop outside the 32, you expect to drop, because you do lose those guarantees, and Barneveld now is guaranteed nothing moving forward. It's all going to be on his ability of this year. Now, that brings me to a very interesting point. The ability of this year. We take a look at the interview conducted by Joe Cullen.
Angry like this, is this something that you need just to fire yourself up in general?
No, I'll tell you what, I'll interrupt you, Phil. So honestly, the media attention that Vessel's got, again, this is not a reflection on him. He's, he seems like a fantastic kid. He's been caught up in a few things beforehand, but he's served his time, and he's held his hands up like a lot haven't. So I think the way I've been treated, probably, with the media and things like that. I know obviously you guys have no control of the bookies. I've been shown no respect, so I won't be showing any respect to any of you guys tonight. I'm going to go home. Cheers.
Now, you can see Joe Cullen here wasn't happy with the media attention that he'd been getting, the negative media attention, should I say. And I would dare say in this, especially in the interview with Abby on stage, it was rude. It is the word I'm going to use for that. Now, when we look at Joe Cullen, I struggle to see exactly what the point is. Now, I get it in the interview with Phil Barnes. He said, I'm the seeded player. It shouldn't have been a surprise that I won this game. But actually, when we look over 12 months, yes, he's talking over a big period of time. But if we look over 12 months, he wouldn't be the seeded player. Joe Cullen's season this year has been a lot further down than what we expected Joe. And sometimes I don't think players realise that we judge them against their own standards, not against the field as such, which if it was the field, you still make Vessel the favourite, absolutely. He said the bookies didn't make him favourite. That's because people was backing Vessel. They expected Vessel to win, the bookies moved the price out. If you get 100 to 1 horse and people start backing it, it's not 100 to 1 anymore, is it? It goes 50 to 1, 33, or until it goes favourite, if enough people back it. So the bookies only just follow the trend of what people think of the patterns, and they saw the patterns as follows. Joe Cullen got into Minehead this year in 60th position. His averages put him in 60th position, so he's down towards the middle ranks of the 128 tour card holders. The FDI agrees with that. The FDI index got him at 1677 in regards to his FDI rating at the moment, which when you put that across to the expectations, has him as a mid-ranked Pro Tour card holder, which is exactly what was also backed up with the averages and also backed up with his positioning in regards to Minehead. We take a look at his yearly win percentage, 44%. That is down. The last 4 years it's been well over 60%, and this is in fact the worst season Joe Cullen has ever had in PDC darts, and he dates back to 2010. So 14 years, this is the worst year we've had from Joe Cullen. So, rightly so, not written off as such, but people concerned, sort of, in regards to the form. Now, yes, he's the senior player, yes, he's experienced, yes, he's coming up against an inexperienced player in Vessel who hasn't really gone deep yet in one of the events, but he's playing well, isn't he, and producing some good stuff. So, I don't quite understand where Joe Cullen came from in this interview, and the most important thing, though, for me, positive, right? Because would we be talking about Joe Cullen right now if he didn't give that interview? Would he have got all the now media attention that he has? Would he have been in front of as many eyes? Would people care about the game the same way? Now, the thing is, right, there's 96 players in the World Championship. Everyone's up there to try and see who the best dart player is, but there's also side stories. I like the stories. I like talking about the stories. Now, there's interest, isn't there, in the Joe Cullen game against Gerwyn Price, because he's divided opinion. He's made you think. So, Joe Cullen now, you either want him to win because you go, yeah, I don't like the way he's been written off, I'm backing Joe, come on Joe, stick it to them. Or you go, do you know what, that was rude, what an absolute bell cheese, I hope Gerwyn Price smashes him. Either way of the fence that you sit on, whichever side of that you go with, you now want a result in the Joe Cullen game, and you'll probably watch it. So, in that sense, Joe Cullen has more than done his job as an entertainer. He's put interest on his game, and he's made you divide opinion, he's made you feel something, so well done to Joe Cullen for that. I actually want to see a bit more. I actually want to see a bit more of it. Divide opinion, make us think something or the other. Say what you really feel. How many times do we say we want characters in the game? Say what you think. So big credit there goes to Joe Cullen for saying what he thinks. Whether we agree with what he thinks or he's not, that obviously is your opinion and my opinion, and that we'll see how we want his next games or his next few games to go. But now, You care, don't you? Well done, Joe Cullen. Big thumbs up to that. Put a thumbs up on this video, guys. That is the like button just down below. Make sure you subscribed for all the key points. If I've missed something out, there's so many talking points. Do go down to the comment section. I'll hang out with you guys down there. We'll have a chat about the World Championship so far. All your big talking points or my big talking points. What an event it's been. We'll be back on the other side of Christmas. Have a great Christmas, guys. Catch you soon.